All right. Hey, and welcome to Financial Confidence on WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network. I'm your host, Lynn Demons. That's Demons, no demons here, DEMMONS. We thank you so much for tuning in for this episode, guys. I need you to go get your pen and your paper because we have an exciting conversation for you today. So you don't want to miss 1 second. Go get it. I'm serious. Go get that pen and paper and we'll be right back.
Need a way out? Lynn Demons is here to help. She's your personal financial rebound coach. Being a wife, mother, and educator, she understands the importance of controlling your finances and building generational wealth. She is here to help you find money you didn't know you had and live life on your terms. Sounds too good to be true? Well, it is true, and it's definitely a good thing. Lynn Demons of Demons Enterprise offers one-on-one coaching, group coaching, and radio podcast entitled Financial Confidence God's Way on WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network. Lynn Demons.
The guiding principle for this show is Matthew 6:33. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. We also implore that you pray over your finances so you can do the things that you're called to do. That's build generational wealth and leave an inheritance for your children's children. So if you will, bow with me. Lord, help us to value the things in this world that are really valuable. That's our relationship with you, our lives, and our families. Help make us responsible stewards of your financial resources, and let us trust your holy word. Eternal glory in our son Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, guys. Yes, we want to hear from you as well. We want your money success stories. So go ahead, give us a call, 470-236-8282. That's 470-236-8282. Leave us a message so we can hear your story. Or if you like to write, then email it to us at financialconfidence2021@gmail.com. All right, guys, like I said, we have an exciting show for you. I'm super excited to bring to the show with us today, Miss Zoe Abbott. Zoe, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very honored to have been invited onto this show.
Awesome. Well, we hope that the weather is equally beautiful in sunny Florida as you are today. So we want to say, Zoe, just introduce yourself to the audience. Let us know a little bit more about you.
Hi, I'm Zoe Abbott. I have an office based out of Clearwater, Tampa, Florida, which is pretty much central, but on the Gulf Coast, Central Florida. And I actually do have offices in Boston, and we service most of the U.S. So we can service pretty much nationwide. I'm a financial success consultant. You can find out a little bit more about what I do if you connect up with me on Instagram at thezoeabbott.com. That's the Zoe Abbott, spelled ZOEABBOTT, and also on my website, which is www.thezoeabbott.com. But yes, I help people all walks of life. I serve pretty much everyone. The middle market is going to be where I work the most, and I help people to manage and handle their debt, whether it's credit cards, student loans, credit issues. That could be bad marks, any type of stuff like that through, financial planning, budgeting, setting up life insurance, retirement accounts, and basic estate planning. So we really are a one-stop shop for anyone's financial needs. And my philosophies are so unique to what I do and my staff. We really try to make people's realities fit their goals and dreams versus shrinking their goals and dreams to fit their reality. So that's really what makes us stand out, I think, as financial success consultants. Yeah.
Wow, wow. You are truly a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
So Zoe, give us a little bit of the backstory, if you will. I want you to share with us then, what was your first job and what did you do with your first check? Yes.
My first job, I was a babysitter. I babysat, I babysat when I was like 11, 12, 13 years old. And I don't know, my first paychecks I spent on Blockbuster Video and candy.
Right. The typical 11, 12-year-old thing, right?
Yeah. For my Friday or Saturday night, if I wasn't babysitting, I'd go and I'd rent a couple movies from Blockbuster and buy some popcorn and candy. But actually, when I was a teenager, actually, I got into the nonprofit sector, and I really loved volunteer work and counseling. And I actually did that for 10 years before I got into finance, more than 10 years. So in that nonprofit setting, everything was taken care of for me. It was a beautiful, wonderful time of my life, and I absolutely loved it. I did not make really any money, but I felt I enjoyed myself so much. And, it was really interesting because, I had a little bit of an allowance, I guess. And, I would probably use that to, buy little things here and there, go out to the movies, buy coffee or little snacks or whatever, maybe some clothes sometimes. I really didn't ever learn any savings habits, and growing up, had a lot of ups and downs financially. My father went through 3 bankruptcies in my life before he passed away. So I've experienced extreme highs and lows financially, and I never got an education or had the right example. But I learned a lot. I learned a lot through counseling people. I learned that money in finance was an enormous ruin for people. So I decided to really take it upon myself to get myself educated, learn, and, start to teach myself,
Awesome. So dare I say, going through your childhood, you said your father went through 3 bankruptcies. That's an education in itself.
For sure.
And that I'm sure many listeners resonate with, those ups and downs, those challenges, that we may have even experienced in our own childhood. I know I experienced something similar. I remember a time where my parents lost 2 homes. And the reason they lost the home was we went on a childhood trip to Six Flags, and my mom was hurt on the grounds of Six Flags, but they didn't sue. And she had, the job, she couldn't work, and all these different things happened. So those little things that happen in our lives are true learning experiences for us from that perspective of our finances. So Zoe, because you do provide a one-stop shop, if you will, for finances for the middle, I think you said the middle class, right? Or the middle of the road as far as what we normally term the middle class. Then what would you say are the top 3 misconceptions that your clients have based upon your experience?
Well, most people are fully stuck in their debt and their bills, their paycheck to paycheck. So they live partially in the past with constant attention on their debt and also just getting by. So the first misconception is that, and the first excuse that almost anyone has is that they're going to save when they're out of debt, or they never have any money to save. And this is a lie that we tell ourselves and that we get kind of grooved into. And I always teach people that they have to simultaneously save and invest at the same time as eliminating debt. Because, the thing is if your debt's up here and your money's down here, the debt was a solution to a problem that shouldn't have existed in the first place. If you had money, you wouldn't have had to go into debt, right? So the only way to handle that is to simultaneously work on these things so that at some point they pass like 2 ships in the night, and then your savings and investments are here, your debt is down here. You don't have to constantly go into this vicious, endless cycle of debt. And it's really hard sometimes for people. I think also procrastination is a huge thing. And let's be real, like all the money that's coming in is always being used for something and allocated. So I get it. No one has money, even people who make, and I do have, by the way, I service the entire gamut of people. Like I have people that make $1 million+ a year that are my clients. I have people that make 20,000 a year that are my clients, and everything in between. And what's really interesting is that my clients that make 30,000 a year, my clients that make $1 million a year, they both make what they need, spend what they make, try to spend more than they make, generally have debt, have problems. The millionaire has nicer stuff, sometimes bigger problems, sometimes bigger debt. Their happiness levels are generally around the same, although obviously someone who is not getting by and can't feed themselves would be pretty unhappy compared to someone who can, at least handle their basic necessities. But it's really quite interesting. So it's working with mindsets. Money is already a really weird subject, and people have all types of mental and spiritual barriers in this area. And so a lot of what I do has a lot to do with working with people and figuring out, taking the basic things that are going to apply to everyone that work, and then figuring out how to make that plan work for that person. I really honestly feel like finance and finance planning is just like dieting and getting in shape and stuff. It's the same type of thing. It's like, some strategies work better for different people, but there's going to be some basic laws that are going to remain the same, that are always going to be the same for everyone, right? And it's just not an overnight thing. It's a continual, constant, disciplined activities that get you to that point. Just like losing weight, you don't lose 100 pounds overnight, So yeah, that's pretty much, those are the main things.
Awesome. So you made a couple of valid points, and one of those I want to go back to. You talk about this concept of the ships, the ships passing each other in the night. And a lot, if we think about it from the Christian perspective, a lot of the things that we've learned or we've been taught about money all of our lives fall in alignment with, the love of money is the root of all evil and things of that nature. So how then does that person transition, right? So if we're thinking about our debt here and we're thinking about our investing here, how do we move to actually be able to allow them to transition themselves, right? Because oftentimes we've been taught, wait a minute, you got to pay all your debt off first, right? Once you pay the debt off, then you have, even with, we follow the Dave Ramsey, right? You have that $1,000 emergency fund, and then you need to go over here and you do this, and there are steps that you go through. Like you said, there are laws that apply to everyone, but how do you help someone to transition? How do we transition so that the ships pass each other in the night and our investing is now higher than our debt?
HBCUs and golf together? Well, now you can by joining Swing Into Their Dreams Foundation on the golf course, as we provide support and raise scholarships for aspiring HBCU students. Our HBCU students need our support now during this pandemic more than ever. So here's how you can help. We are looking for sponsors, golfers, and volunteers like you. If you're an entrepreneur, business owner, executive, or an HBCU alum, we need you. Now's your chance to make a difference. Log on to swingintotheirdreams.com. That's swingintotheirdreams.com. Or call us at 770-686-7148. That's 770-686-7148. Because we don't just want HBCU students to go to college. We want them to strive, thrive, and graduate.
Well, it really just starts with finding out for that individual person what is a good starting point that they can start doing, where they add a bill that's an expense that comes out on automatic, whether it's weekly or monthly or so forth, and have a constant flow going towards your savings at the same time as managing and eliminating your debt. Because if you don't do that, you have the same problem where you're constantly going in and out of debt, because if you don't have money, where are you going to go to get money that you don't have? You're going to go more into debt. So, plus, what if you run out of debt space and now you have no money and you can't even feed your family or something? That's just ridiculous, right? So you never want to be put in that position. So I would be more actually on the side of, helping someone to build those emergency fund reserves and make them really secure as a priority than even their debt. Because if I can get that solid, then we can handle the debt so much easier. But the debt constantly as being the only thing that your attention is on is not good. Also, if you think about it, debt is a very negative thing. You're paying for something that you already spent, right? Whereas if you are creating something now for your present and your future, it is so much more a rewarding thing, and it brings you more enthusiasm, more excitement. And so people tend to do things more that they like or they enjoy or bring them happiness and so forth. So you really have to do that, because if you only focus on debt, it's a very negative thing, and also constantly putting your attention behind you instead of in front of you. So if you can manage that, because having your attention stuck, I don't know if you can, I'm sure you can relate to this, but having your attention stuck in the past or past experiences or whatever is actually creates a psychosis for people. But when you can kind of get them out of that and put their attention into the future and all the things that they can have and they want and all that stuff, it actually brings them sanity. So what I do in my job is really to handle people's psychosis on the subject of money and bring them sanity. That is the sole reason I exist. Because if I do that, then they start to handle all of the things that they need to handle, and they get to have what they want to have, and they're happy. And that's successful financial planning. Like, you can't just go to people and tell them, you can't drink coffee, you need to cut back this, you need to eat beans and rice. It doesn't work. People don't like that. People protest lack of enjoyment. So my job is to bring people joy and happiness so that they want to and they will. And when they do that, they're going to create and they're going to rise above their situation. They're going to be doing so much better in life. And I've had a lot of success doing that with thousands of families. So yeah, that's what I'm about. Now, I did want to jump on one thing. You said, this concept that money is the root of all evil. And it's really interesting because I have a blog on my website, and I go over and dispel some of those false fixed ideas that we've been fed and we've read. And the thing is, it's an observation, and it's not even an incorrect observation in some situations. I have seen people do very evil things because of money. Okay.
Right.
It's like, undoubtedly, the reason that people say that is that they've seen it multiple times bring out the worst in people. But the truth is that money is a magnifying glass. And what I mean by that is that if someone's already a jerk and a POS and like whatever, more money is going to make them more like that. Okay. Right. If someone is a good person and is genuine and caring and loving, more money is going to make them more giving and loving. So the truth is that money magnifies everything. It magnifies problems, and it magnifies good and bad. So you're going to see evil, bad people, or people that operate like that with more money are going to be more like that and more obviously like that. And people that are awesome people are going to just be more awesome with money. So instead of going into agreement with this idea that money is evil, money is a magnifying glass. Money just makes everything bigger. You're able to do more with money, because money, what does it represent? It represents energy. It represents hard work, or it represents exchangeable, deliverable services or products that you have created or exchanged with society that you have now received something back for. So that's a way that I look at money, and that I've learned from all my studies and experience and so forth. There's none of this stuff originates from me. It's just observing truth and facts, and, people that I've learned from, my mentors and, wise people that I've studied, and then my own experience working with clients and in my industry.
Absolutely. I love the way that you share that and position it, because you're absolutely right. Money is a magnifier. And I love that you said that. Guys, you're listening to Financial Confidence, where we're helping you to make your money, keep your money, and grow your money so you can do those things that you're called to do. That's to build generational wealth and leave an inheritance for your children's children. So Zoe, one of the things that you also shared that I wanted to come back to was from the financial planning perspective. Sure. And a lot of people believe that, having a true financial plan is for the wealthy. how do you help those who don't, who don't feel that financial planning is for them? Oh, I shouldn't, life insurance is not for me. Having a will is not for me. Doing all of these different things that comprise what we know to be a solid financial plan, right, are not the norm for some people. So what do you do when you encounter that type of client, and how do you help them to transition?
Okay, well, the truth is the lower amount of money you have, the more meticulous you have to be in your planning, because you have a lot less to go around. Let's be real. When I was first starting, growing my business or whatever, I came from making nothing. I had $10 to my name. I started my business in 2015. I was living in a 600 square foot apartment. I was making very little money. I was working $10 an hour job, 15. I increased it over time. It took me about a year to kind of figure out what I was doing, get started in my current business. And then after my first year or two, I was making a multiple six-figure income, and continued to multiply my income every year since. But the thing is, so I know exactly what it was like planning at that point when I was making $10 an hour versus now. I have rules and percentages and habits, which are great, and routines, but I am not counting pennies and looking at all these things like I used to. Like I used to have it like really, really intense, extreme. So more financial planning and more strict financial planning is needed the least money that you make. The thing is, I think the big protest, and this is why I service the middle market, people don't want to pay people to tell them what to do with their no money. I don't have any money to pay you to tell me what to do with my no money, right?
Okay, so, awesome.
Yeah. So that's really the biggest problem. But the way that my company, my business is set up, really, honestly, is our products are designed for people who have $10 to their name. Okay. All the way to people who have $1 million or plus or whatever. And we can help anyone start making some changes and start improving. And because of how our services are designed, with technology, it's made it possible to service a lot more people. You're not going to get the same type of service. If you're a multimillionaire and you can pay someone $15,000 or more to sit down with you and tell you what to do, that's a different service than what I deliver. I'm not going to sit down and consult someone every week or something like that and go through all their stuff, but I'm going to get them on a plan, and maybe we'll meet every 6 months to a year or as often as needed as things change. But we get something going, and so that's when I service that means, I'm hands-on and hands-off at the same time, right, which is great because I can grow with someone, right? If they've got very little to start, that's fine, but they get the habits in. And then, that's pretty much how it works. Like we get paid by the companies that we represent, and we're like Amazon. We represent the entire financial services industry. So if someone needs a specific product, we match them up, and then those companies will give us some type of compensation. In some cases, I have providers, like if I'm handling people's credit and their debt and different things like that, I get paid almost nothing, sometimes nothing. But what happens is that through goodwill, the next time that person thinks of someone who needs financial planning, they're going to think of me, and I'm going to get that client. Or some people I work with for a couple of years before I get them started on a product that I'd actually get compensated for. But it's really magical because I've got people I've been working with for years, and I've helped them from $100,000 in credit card debt to debt-free to having tons of money in the bank and investments and retirement and stuff. And it's so, so rewarding. And we have, I can just countless success stories like that. And it's like we've eliminated me and my team have eliminated more than $50 million in debt in the last 2 years. So, we are very proud of how much we've helped people and, gotten them on track. And that's how we operate. So there's no money that passes between us and the clients. We earn the money through helping them. If I can get their debt handled and free them up, it's very easy to be like, hey, you want this anyway. Let's redirect this money towards your retirement, towards life insurance, towards your kids' college fund, towards down payment on a house, a new car, whatever, So right. You don't really have to sell people to save money, have money, make money with their money. People want to do this stuff. They want to protect their families. It's not a sale. It's not a sales process. I'm not in a salesy job. It's education, enlightenment, planning, discipline, consistency. That's it. Boom. Very simple.
I love it, guys. Zoe, we so appreciate you for joining us for Financial Confidence. You have truly dropped some nuggets. Guys, I hope you heard her. She said her and her team have helped to eliminate $50 million in debt. So I highly advise you to seek her out. Zoe, are there any last words you would like to share with the audience before we end this segment?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we could talk forever. I feel like we could do another another segment. But when you were talking about like building wealth and generational wealth and legacy and stuff, I'm huge on that. I absolutely love life insurance. I love what it can do for families. I love to teach people about how they can use it. So, I'm big on that. We do a lot of that. Because, there's this one saying, it's like a wise man said that, a generation grows when men plant trees that they may never sit under,
Right.
And right. I just think that's the most beautiful thing. Like, honestly, it makes me almost tear up. Like some of the most amazing things, whether it's cultural things like museums and schools and institutions that are for learning or help people or whatever, they were all put there and created by people who thought way beyond their own life and way beyond themselves. And I feel like that. Everything that I do, I think about obviously myself and how I want to live my life and help others, but like also my kid, my daughter and my family and the future, and everything that we do now is going to affect that. And so anyway, I'm huge on that. We do a lot of that sort of planning as well and help people, to build, wealth and retirement and different things like that. So I love it. I really do.
Awesome. So Zoe, do you mind sharing one more time where they can find you on Instagram and your website?
Absolutely. So I'm the Zoe Abbott across the boards on everything: Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. So that's the THE, Zoe, ZOE, Abbott, ABBOTT, 2 B's, 2 T's. Pretty easy to find me. My website is www.thezoeabbott.com. Instagram, The Zoe Abbott, Facebook, The Zoe Abbott, Twitter, The Zoe Abbott, YouTube, The Zoe Abbott. It's pretty easy to find me.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you for coming on to Financial Confidence with WYTV7 and sharing your story. Guys, yes, thank you. If this has been invaluable information for you, don't forget to go over to WYTV7.org and leave a donation. We want to continue to share this message out to help you to do what you're called to do. That's to build generational wealth and leave an inheritance for your children's children. I'm Lynn Demmons. That's Demmons, no demons here, y'all. DEMMONS. We look forward to seeing you next time at the same place, wherever you're listening to this podcast or watching this video. We appreciate you for everything that you do. And guys, Happy New Year. Yes, it's 2021. It's time for us to get moving to our next. We thank you so much for tuning in. Until then, you stay safe. Goodbye.